how do we really learn how to live? We learn from whoever we grew up watching. How else would we know what to do? Some of what we learn, it's good. Some not so good. Some is neither good or bad. How do I know my upbringing had a major impact on me? Look at this. This is a 3-ring binder checkbook. I know very few people who even use checks. So why do I use this? It's because I watched my dad every Sunday morning sitting at our kitchen table balancing a checkbook in one of these. He'd get frustrated when Mom would forget to record a check. So when I opened an account, what did I get? This. The banker looked at me like I was crazy. Now I balance my checkbook in one of these, and yes, I get frustrated when Marilyn doesn't record checks. Our upbringing impacts so much of what we do and how we do it.
Brad and I grew up very differently. This led to different views on what marriage should look like. My dad was handy and he fixed everything around the house. Brad's dad didn't own a toolbox. My parents worked together full-time and were around each other all the time. They communicated a lot about everything. Brad's parents both held busy careers and weren't together as much. Their communication looked very different than what I saw. Brad's home was majorly sports-oriented. Mine wasn't. Brad's family likes to go and do, and I grew up in a home where we liked being more at home. Even down to the preferences, they looked so different.
My dad drove old cars. In fact, the one he drove the longest was a 1974 diesel. I remember actually getting calls from him saying, "Brad, I need a push." What this meant was I needed to take my car to him, put my front bumper on his back bumper, and actually push his car forward. When we would hit 15 miles per hour, he'd pop the clutch of his manual transmission and his car would start. One night, he got home, turned off the ignition of his car, but the car kept running. He actually had to leave it running all night. So when I got my first car, guess what? It was an old Oldsmobile Delta 88. It was huge. In fact, it was so long that it was a 2-door and a 1.5 feet longer than our full-size station wagon.
It was the opposite at my house. My family likes cars. When I was growing up, my dad and I would go out to car lots just to look at cars together. We would even go on Sundays when we could look at the cars while the dealerships were closed. My dad knows a lot about cars, worked on them, and even loves engines and built cars.
So when we got married, guess who didn't want to spend much money on a car?
And guess who did? Our upbringing has a tremendous impact on us. Were you in a home of savers or spenders? A home with confrontation or avoidance? Where emotions were shared or were they withheld? Were you in a home where parenting was more hands-on or was it a more hands-off approach? Was your home laid back or rigidly structured? Our families of origin have a major impact on our habits and our behaviors now.
And when you add to this past wounds that hurt us, as well as successes that help us, just much is brought to our marriages. It's critical to identify. Understanding our family of origin is very important. When you seek to really know how your spouse grew up, you'll begin to understand why they do the things they do and begin to know them in an understanding way, as Scripture calls us.
So think about your marriage. What do you expect from it? So often it's largely determined by what we saw growing up. For Brad and I, our differences set us up for one tough start. So we want to identify helpful patterns to repeat and look at unhelpful patterns we want to change. Some things are neither good nor bad, they're just preferences where you can learn to honor each other.
And this is an exercise we have to be very careful with, because I find some, they can see all the bad and struggle to really honor their parents. Others will idealize their upbringing and fail to see or break unbiblical patterns.
So first, we should identify what is worth carrying forward. What did we learn growing up that we want to replicate? Also, we had things growing up that we didn't like and we knew we wanted to do differently. Yet so often it is natural to fall back in these patterns we don't like. Why do we do this? It's all we know. The acorn doesn't fall far from the tree, right? Then you add to this different preferences and styles, and things can get ugly fast. Our differences resulted in me crying a lot, and it resulted in Brad thinking he was married to someone that was kind of needy and really hypersensitive. The exercise of looking at our families of origin helped us understand each other better.
For instance, I grew up in a home that was more emotionally reserved.
I grew up in a home where we talked about everything.
When we got married, Marilyn would ask me questions. She'd want to learn about my day. She'd want to spend one-on-one time together. She'd even try to get me up early in the morning so we could talk before I went to work. It was uncomfortable for me to do what she wanted. I really didn't let her know what was going on in my mind or my heart and kind of felt pressured.
I felt hurt and lonely. I wanted to be close to Brad. I wondered if there was something wrong in our relationship or with me. Why wouldn't he talk to me? Why didn't he want to spend more time with me? Once we understood our family of origin and the impact it has on our marriage, we were less frustrated with each other. I wasn't so quickly offended at his lack of sharing and recognized he was just doing what he knew. I found that I could love him better when I came to understand him.
And when I understood her family of origin, I realized that to be close to Marilyn, I needed to share my day and my emotions. I needed to prioritize one-on-one time. I needed to give her my undivided attention. Her frustration was reduced and we began to establish new patterns. So, what is it for you? Is it communication? Is it finances? Parenting? How you spend your time?
If you consider each other's family of origin, it's going to help you extend grace and love your spouse more effectively. So as you go through this lesson, we want you to really think about your family of origin and how it influences the way you do life now.
And for many, this will be hard. Breaking free of negative patterns is not easy, but it's worth the work. Doing this can bring about lasting change and freedom to deeper enjoyment of one another.
We have an amazing opportunity to experience so many breakthroughs. We can build on our parents' legacies, and we can set our families up for success as relational obstacles are removed. We can be set free to grow in the enjoyment of Jesus and one another.